How to shield yourself from negative energy. Have you ever noticed that there are days when everything flows effortlessly, and others when it feels like everything is heavy? A single awkward conversation, a strange look, an unexpected piece of news, and suddenly your energy drops, your emotions get tangled, and your body feels it. What is interesting is that many times the problem is not what happens outside of you, but how much you allow it to cross into your inner field, into your presence. Most people try to protect themselves using shortcuts, amulets, random rituals, avoiding so-called heavy people. It may work for a while, but it does not last. Real shielding does not come from the outside. It is born from awareness, self-control, and the way you regulate your nervous system and interpret the world. That is where personal power begins to awaken. And here is a statement that often makes people uncomfortable. Negative energy only gains access when it finds internal permission. Fear, automatic reactions, lack of self-awareness, and absence of mental strength open invisible doors. On the other hand, when your vibration stabilizes and your frequency rises, many things simply stop reaching you without effort, without struggle. In this content, you will understand how to build a solid, practical, energetic shield that applies to real life. Nothing overly mystical, nothing overly theoretical, just clarity, emotional responsibility, and tools to live with more neutrality, focus, and elevated vibration, even in chaotic environments. Nothing affects you without your permission. Nothing, absolutely nothing, enters your energetic field without some level of permission, whether conscious or unconscious. It may sound strange at first, but every experience that affects you passes through your awareness first. It is like an inner gatekeeper. If you do not authorize entry, the energy knocks and returns. This permission is almost never verbal. It appears in the gaps created by fear, lack of presence, and automatic emotional reactions. When you react without noticing, the body contracts, the nervous system fires, and the vibration drops. And without realizing it, you open the door yourself. A simple exercise helps a lot. Before reacting, breathe and mentally ask, do I choose to give power to this right now? This microspace creates self-control and strengthens mental strength. Over time, this practice becomes natural energetic shielding, and your frequency begins to remain more stable. It is not what happens, it is how you respond. What truly defines the impact of a situation is not the event itself, but your emotional response to it. Two people can go through the same experience and come out completely different. That happens because interpretation activates different emotions, alters vibration, and directs the energy circulating your field. When the response comes from autopilot, the nervous system takes over and the body reacts before the mind. That is when impulses, tension, defense, and exhaustion appear. But when presence and self-control exist, reaction becomes choice. And choice is always an expression of personal power. A simple practice is to observe the time between stimulus and response. The greater this space, the stronger your mental strength. Conscious breathing techniques, pausing before responding to difficult messages, and even writing what you feel before speaking help maintain a more balanced frequency, preparing the ground for the next level of awareness. Situations are neutral. Meaning is something you give. Facts by themselves are neutral. They do not carry labels, intentions, or judgments. You are the one who colors the experience through interpretation, emotions, and personal history. That is where awareness begins to free your energy. When something is immediately classified as good or bad, the body reacts, vibration fluctuates, and the nervous system goes on alert. But when you learn to observe without reacting, neutrality emerges. Neutrality is not coldness. It is lucid presence, without automatic surrender of power. A practical exercise is to replace "why did this happen to me?" with "what is this showing me?" This simple shift changes frequency, activates self-awareness, and strengthens energetic shielding. The experience continues to happen, but now it passes through you without completely piercing you. Dense emotions are not enemies. Anger, frustration, sadness, and fear are not signs of weakness. They are signs of humanity. The problem is not feeling them, but not knowing how to guide them. When repressed, they accumulate in the body, deregulate the nervous system, and drain energy. When you allow yourself to feel without identifying with the emotion, something changes. Emotion becomes information, not identity. This movement requires presence and self-control, but it strengthens mental strength and prevents vibration from collapsing with every external trigger. A simple practice is naming what you feel. This is anger. This is fear. It seems basic, but it activates awareness and creates emotional distance. Over time, these emotions stop being dense and become fuel for self-awareness and personal power, preparing the ground to understand where they truly come from. Fear is the fuel of dense energies. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions that exist because it quickly alters the frequency of body and mind. When fear settles in, vibration drops, the nervous system enters defense mode, and energy becomes scattered. That is the environment where dense energies find space to connect. The more you fear something, the more attention, focus, and emotion you give it. And attention is manifestation in motion. This is not about belief. It is about how the brain and body function together. Constant fear creates mental repetition, and mental repetition creates perceived reality. A practical training here is to develop intimacy with fear instead of running from it. Ask yourself, is this a real danger or an interpretation? This question activates awareness, restores self-control, and strengthens energetic shielding. When fear loses strength, what depended on it naturally begins to weaken. Similar frequencies attract each other. There is a simple but powerful principle: similar frequencies tend to meet. When your vibration is low, filled with fear, tension, and reactivity, you do not attract bad luck. You simply enter resonance with compatible experiences. This is basic energetic physics, not punishment from the universe. This does not mean guilt. It means responsibility. Your daily energy is built through thoughts, emotions, habits, and how you care for your nervous system. If the field is disorganized, it becomes more permeable. If it is coherent, it naturally creates energetic shielding. A practical way to raise frequency is adjusting small routines. Starting the day without your phone, taking a conscious walk, listening to content that expands self-awareness. Books like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle are extremely helpful. Each of these choices sustains an elevated vibration that almost automatically limits access from dense energies. Vibrating high does not eliminate challenges, it changes how you move through them. Vibrating high does not mean living inside a pink bubble where nothing goes wrong. Challenges still exist. Difficult people still cross your path. Unexpected events still happen. The difference is that with elevated vibration, you do not get emotionally lost in the process. When frequency is stable, the mind gains neutrality and the body responds with greater self-control. The challenge arrives, but it does not hijack you. You observe, learn, adjust, and move forward. This is presence in action, sustained by mental strength. A powerful daily filter is asking, does this deserve my energy right now? This simple question protects the nervous system, preserves personal power, and strengthens energetic shielding. Those who vibrate high do not ignore life. They simply do not get trapped inside it. Repeated thoughts manifest experiences. What you think frequently, combined with the emotion attached to those thoughts, creates direction. Constant focus plus intense emotion equals manifestation, whether conscious or not. The mind does not distinguish desire from fear. It simply executes what it receives with emotional charge. When thoughts repeat without awareness, they shape frequency, adjust vibration, and influence decisions, behaviors, and reactions. That is where self-awareness becomes a practical tool. Observing your inner dialogue is taking responsibility for what you are creating. A simple exercise is replacing mental loops with conscious choice. Whenever you notice a recurring thought, ask, does this strengthen or weaken my field? This pause activates awareness, strengthens mental strength, and turns the mind into your greatest energetic shielding ally, preparing the ground for deeper internal control. The mind is the greatest energetic shield. The mind is the first access portal to your field. If something does not enter your mind, it does not cross your energy. Thoughts accepted without filtering shape vibration, influence emotions, and determine vulnerability to external environments. When mental strength exists, the mind stops being an open field and becomes a conscious filter. This is not rigidity. It is presence. You listen and observe, but you choose what stays. This posture regulates the nervous system and naturally strengthens energetic shielding. A powerful practice is stimulus fasting. Less negative news, fewer unproductive discussions, less comparison. In exchange, more reading. Think and Grow Rich is a classic for training focus and mental direction. Over time, your frequency stabilizes and personal power becomes visible even in small decisions. Activated emotion equals created connection. Whenever something affects you emotionally, connection is being created. Not because you are weak, but because internal engagement happened. Emotion is the invisible thread linking external stimulus to your energy field, adjusting frequency. When reaction is automatic, the nervous system goes into alert mode and vibration drops quickly. But when you notice the emotion arising and choose not to feed it, the connection dissolves. This is self-control in practice, not spiritual theory. A simple training is observing where the emotion appears in the body. Tightness in the chest, jaw tension, shallow breathing. This active presence interrupts the cycle, strengthens mental strength, and reinforces energetic shielding. You begin to understand that feeling is not connecting. It is simply noticing. A regulated nervous system equals a strong, energetic field. A dysregulated nervous system makes anyone more reactive, anxious, and energetically exposed. When the body lives in constant alert, energy disperses, frequency oscillates, and energetic shielding weakens. Not due to lack of protection, but due to excess stimulation. Regulating the nervous system is not a luxury. It is basic self-care. Quality sleep, real pauses during the day, and deep breathing are simple tools that increase self-control and restore presence to the body. A calm body sustains a clear mind and elevated vibration. Start with something practical. 46 breathing. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6 for 5 minutes before sleep. This signals safety to the body, strengthens mental strength, and creates a more stable field for dealing with external stimuli without getting lost in them. Energetic hygiene is self-care. Caring for energy is not abstract. It is routine. Just as you shower to clean your body, you need practices that clear emotional and mental excess accumulated during the day. This keeps frequency stable and sustains elevated vibration. Sleeping well, eating consciously, connecting with nature, and respecting moments of silence regulate the nervous system and strengthen energetic shielding. This is not about perfection. It is about consistency. Start simple. Turn off screens 1 hour before sleep. Walk barefoot on grass or earth when possible. And choose your company wisely. Healthy connections elevate vibration, reinforce personal power, and help you understand that protection is not isolation. It is conscious presence. What you do not feed has no power. What you do not feed weakens. Energy needs focus, emotion, and repetition to remain active. When you do not fear, do not obsess, and do not create mental stories, the connection dissolves on its own. Without emotion, there is no energetic sustainment. Many people confuse ignoring with repressing, but they are not the same. Repression creates nervous tension. Ignoring is conscious neutrality. You notice, but you do not react. In practice, this means stopping mental revisits of situations, cutting repetitive internal dialogues, and choosing where attention goes. Ask yourself, does this deserve my focus right now? This simple choice strengthens self-control, activates personal power, and prepares you to understand the next level of energetic protection. High energy is stronger than low energy. High energy does not fight, compete, or constantly defend itself. It simply sustains presence. An elevated vibration is naturally more coherent, more organized, and therefore stronger. Lower frequencies struggle to access this field. When you understand this, paranoia disappears. It is not about protecting yourself all the time, but about sustaining awareness, self-control, and emotional responsibility. A stable field does not fight. It simply does not resonate with what is dense. This understanding changes how you live. Less fear, more presence, less reaction, more personal power. Energetic shielding stops being effort and becomes consequence. And now that you understand how energy, frequency, and vibration work in practice, one question becomes unavoidable. What have you been allowing into your field without realizing it? Which emotions do you feed automatically? Which thoughts do you repeat as absolute truths? Awareness begins when you observe yourself without judgment, but with responsibility. Energetic shielding is not something you do once. It is something you live. It is in daily choices, in how you regulate your nervous system, in how you care for your emotions, and in the level of presence you sustain. Each conscious action strengthens mental strength, activates personal power, and naturally elevates vibration. So reflect. What can you adjust today to become less reactive and more aware? Where can you stop feeding fear and start sustaining neutrality? Small changes create powerful transformations when done with intention. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and continue deepening this process. Your field will thank you, and your life will too.